You may believe that every fruit is safe, natural, and always good for your health. But the truth is not so simple. As a brain doctor, I have seen far too many patients who thought they were eating healthy only to discover that their choices were silently raising their risk of stroke, especially at night. There is one common fruit that seems harmless, even recommended by friends or family. Yet, when eaten the wrong way or at the wrong time, it can cause dangerous spikes in blood sugar, blood pressure, and stress on the blood vessels in your brain. Stroke is not only about smoking, high cholesterol, or aging. Sometimes it begins quietly with what you put on your plate before bedtime. That is why I am sounding this alarm. In this video, I will reveal the hidden danger of this fruit, explain why the risk is highest overnight, and show you smarter and safer choices that protect your brain while still letting you enjoy the sweetness of nature. Do not ignore this, because the difference between eating smart and eating carelessly can mean the difference between waking up healthy or not waking up at all. Before we dive in, if you have not subscribed yet, I recommend you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 so I know how to make better content for you. Part 1. Why fruit is not always safe. For decades, we have been taught that fruits are nature's perfect food, full of vitamins, fiber, and antioxidants that keep the body strong. Patients often come to me proudly explaining how they eat more fruit instead of sweets, believing they have made the safest possible choice. While fruits are indeed an important part of a balanced diet, the truth is that not all fruits are safe in every situation. Some, when consumed at the wrong time or in excess, can create silent dangers that most people never expect. When it comes to stroke, a disease that can change your life in minutes, ignoring these details can be fatal. Stroke occurs when blood flow to part of the brain is interrupted, either by a clot or a burst blood vessel. High blood pressure, sudden spikes in blood sugar, and abnormal stress on the heart and arteries all increase this risk. What many people do not realize is that certain fruits, especially those with high sugar content, can drive these very changes inside the body. Take, for example, fruits with a high glycemic index, which means they rapidly raise blood sugar after being eaten. Grapes, ripe mangoes, lychees, and even bananas fall into this category. When you eat these fruits, particularly in the evening or before bed, the sugar floods the bloodstream. The pancreas releases insulin in large amounts to lower the sugar. But the sudden surge, followed by a crash, destabilizes circulation. During the night, when your body naturally slows its metabolism, this stress is magnified. The blood pressure may rise, the vessels in the brain constrict, and the stage is set for a stroke that strikes silently while you sleep. The danger is not limited to sugar. Some fruits are rich in potassium, which in moderation supports heart health, but in excess, especially for people with kidney disease or those taking blood pressure medications, it can cause dangerous heart rhythm disturbances. Imagine eating a large serving of potassium-rich fruit at night, then going to bed unaware that your heart is struggling with abnormal rhythms that could trigger cardiac arrest or a stroke before morning. Another hidden factor is portion size. Many people assume that because fruit is natural, they can eat unlimited amounts. A bowl of mango slices, half a bunch of grapes, or 3 bananas at once can deliver the same sugar load as a can of soda. The difference is that people do not feel guilty about fruit. So they consume large portions without realizing the hidden impact. Repeated night after night. This habit stresses the arteries, thickens the blood, and increases clot formation. All dangerous for the brain. Timing is also critical. During the day, your body burns more energy, and your muscles use sugar for activity. At night, especially close to bedtime, the body stores this sugar as fat, and the blood sugar stays elevated for longer. This combination worsens inflammation and damages the lining of blood vessels. Studies have shown that late-night eating, regardless of the food, is linked to higher rates of stroke and heart disease. Fruits, because of their sugar content, play a big role in this effect. Patients often tell me they eat fruit at night because it feels lighter than a heavy meal. What they do not see is that the light sugar spike can quietly become a heavy burden for their arteries and brain. There is also the problem of interactions with existing medical conditions. People with diabetes who eat high sugar fruits at night often wake up with dangerously unstable blood sugar levels. People with hypertension who eat salty dried fruits like prunes or raisins without checking sodium content may unknowingly raise their blood pressure while they sleep. Even those with no known illness may face increased risk if they combine fruit with alcohol late at night. A common social habit, alcohol dehydrates the body. And when paired with sugary fruit, the blood becomes thicker and more prone to clotting. This is a perfect recipe for stroke during the early morning hours. To be clear, I am not saying fruit is bad. Fruits provide essential nutrients that protect against many diseases. The problem is context. Which fruit? How much? And when you eat it matters just as much as whether you eat fruit at all. Most people overlook these details, assuming that more fruit always equals more health. That assumption is not only false, it can be deadly. Stroke does not only come from smoking, fatty foods, or lack of exercise. It can also be triggered by habits that seem healthy on the surface but are harmful in practice. Fruit is a perfect example. The danger lies in unawareness. By treating fruit as a food with no limits, people place themselves at risk without realizing it. In my practice, I have seen patients who suffered mini strokes after years of evening fruit feasts. Patients who had blood sugar levels spike dangerously from late-night grapes, and even patients whose potassium-rich fruit choices interfered with their heart medications, pushing them into crisis. What all these cases teach us is simple. Fruit is not always safe. The same natural food that can heal when eaten wisely can also harm when consumed carelessly. Stroke is unforgiving, and your body will not excuse mistakes just because they were made with healthy food. The truth you must carry with you is that fruit, like medicine, must be taken in the right dose, at the right time, and in the right form. Only then does it protect rather than endanger. If this has made you rethink what you eat at night, wait until you hear the next part, where I will reveal the specific fruit that is most dangerous when consumed before bed, and explain how it silently raises your risk of stroke overnight. Part 2. The dangerous fruit revealed. Now that you understand fruit is not always safe, it is time to reveal the specific fruit that has shocked many of my patients when I explain its hidden risks. That fruit is the grape. Grapes, whether red, green, or black, are often seen as one of the healthiest snacks. They are small, convenient, sweet, and refreshing. They are praised for containing antioxidants like resveratrol, which has been linked to heart protection. Many people even believe that eating grapes every day will keep their heart and brain younger. The truth, however, is far more complex. And when grapes are eaten in excess, especially at night, they can silently raise your risk of stroke. Grapes are one of the highest sugar-containing fruits by weight. A small handful may not seem like much, but each grape is loaded with natural fructose and glucose. Eat half a bunch of grapes, and you may be consuming the sugar equivalent of several teaspoons. Because grapes are so easy to eat, people rarely stop at just a few. They eat them by the handful while watching television in the evening, or they serve them at late-night gatherings as a light snack. The sweetness is deceptive because it does not feel heavy like cake or soda. But the sugar load is just as high, sometimes higher. What happens inside the body is alarming. When you eat grapes, the natural sugars are absorbed rapidly, causing a sharp rise in blood glucose. During the day, your muscles may use some of that sugar for energy, but at night, when the body is preparing for rest, metabolism slows. The sugar lingers in the bloodstream, forcing the pancreas to release a surge of insulin. This roller coaster effect destabilizes blood pressure and circulation. Blood vessels in the brain, already delicate, face sudden stress. In people with high blood pressure or diabetes, this stress can be the final push toward a clot forming or a vessel bursting, leading to a stroke in the middle of the night. Grapes also have another hidden risk. Dried grapes, known as raisins, are even more concentrated sources of sugar. A small box of raisins may look harmless, but it delivers an intense sugar load that spikes blood sugar faster than most desserts. Many people eat raisins as a healthy late-night alternative to candy, not realizing that their brain and arteries are under the same stress. Even fresh grapes, when consumed in large amounts, can overwhelm the body. The high glycemic index means blood sugar rises quickly. And because grapes contain little fiber compared to other fruits, there is nothing to slow down the absorption. This makes the sugar surge even sharper. Research has shown that repeated spikes in blood sugar damage the lining of blood vessels, promote inflammation, and increase clot formation. All of these processes are directly linked to stroke risk. Another concern is how grapes interact with existing medical conditions. For people with diabetes, late-night grapes can cause severe morning hyperglycemia, a condition where blood sugar remains dangerously elevated after waking. For people with kidney problems, grapes can add to the potassium burden, which may destabilize heart rhythms. For people on certain blood pressure medications, the extra sugar and potassium can interact in unpredictable ways, increasing the risk of sudden cardiac events that may trigger stroke. The risk becomes even greater when grapes are consumed with alcohol. Many social gatherings include wine or cocktails served with grape snacks. Alcohol dehydrates the body and thins the blood temporarily, while grape sugar spikes insulin and blood pressure. This combination is volatile, raising the chance of stroke during the night. I have seen patients who experience mini strokes after such evenings, brushing off their confusion or dizziness as hangovers until they collapse days later. To make matters worse, people often give grapes to children and older adults as a bedtime snack, believing it is light and healthy. Yet both groups are vulnerable. Children may not show immediate effects, but repeated sugar spikes contribute to early vascular damage. Older adults, with stiffer arteries and higher stroke risk, face immediate danger from the destabilizing effects of late-night grapes. It is important to emphasize that grapes are not evil by themselves. When eaten in moderation during the day and as part of a balanced diet, they can provide antioxidants and hydration. The danger lies in excess. Timing. and context. A few grapes with lunch are safe for most people. A bowl of grapes at midnight is not. The body responds differently depending on when and how much you eat. What makes grapes especially dangerous compared to some other fruits is their combination of high sugar, rapid absorption, and cultural habit of late-night consumption. Bananas and mangoes also carry risks, but they tend to be eaten in smaller portions or earlier in the day. Grapes, on the other hand, are marketed as the perfect snack at any time, which encourages people to eat them at the very worst time before bed. Stroke does not forgive these mistakes. The brain cannot store oxygen or nutrients for later. So when blood vessels are stressed by sugar surges and blood pressure fluctuations, the damage comes quickly. A clot can form silently while you sleep. A vessel can burst without warning. You may feel perfectly fine when you close your eyes at night, only to wake up unable to move, unable to speak, or not wake up at all. That is why I tell my patients in the clearest terms possible, grapes at night are not harmless. They are a hidden danger. If you want to enjoy them, do it earlier in the day, and always in moderation. Do not give them to elderly loved ones as bedtime snacks. And do not believe that natural sugar is safe sugar when consumed carelessly. The lesson is sharp and sobering. The very fruit you thought was protecting your heart may be endangering your brain if you eat it the wrong way. If this revelation has shocked you, wait until you hear the next part, where I will explain why the risk from grapes and other high-sugar fruits is highest overnight, and how the body's natural rhythms make nighttime consumption especially dangerous for stroke. Part 3. Why risk is highest overnight. The third fact you must understand is that the danger of eating certain fruits, especially grapes and other high-sugar varieties, is magnified at night. Many people believe that a light fruit snack before bed is harmless, even healthy, because it is not fried food or heavy meat. Yet what happens inside the body after dark is very different from what happens during the day, and those differences explain why the risk of stroke rises sharply when fruit is consumed late at night. At night, the human body shifts into a state of rest. The metabolism slows, digestion slows, and the body begins repairing tissues and conserving energy. The demand for glucose, the body's main energy source, decreases significantly. When you eat high-sugar fruits at night, the bloodstream suddenly fills with glucose that the body does not need. Instead of being burned by muscles during activity, this sugar lingers in circulation. The pancreas must release a surge of insulin to bring the sugar down, and this hormone swing destabilizes blood pressure and vascular tone. For people with diabetes or prediabetes, this can mean dangerous spikes followed by sudden drops, creating strain on the brain's delicate circulation. Another reason the risk is higher overnight is because blood pressure naturally dips during sleep, a phenomenon known as nocturnal dipping. This dip is healthy when it occurs gradually and within safe limits. But when a person eats sugar late at night, the body reacts with stress hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol, which push blood pressure back up suddenly. This erratic fluctuation between dipping and spiking puts enormous stress on blood vessel walls. Fragile arteries in the brain are especially vulnerable. A sudden rise in pressure can rupture a weakened vessel, leading to hemorrhagic stroke, or it can trigger clot formation, cutting off blood supply and causing ischemic stroke. There is also the issue of circadian rhythms, the natural 24-hour cycles that regulate our organs. The liver, which plays a central role in processing sugar, fat, and toxins, becomes less efficient at night. Studies have shown that eating late disrupts the liver's clock, leading to poor sugar regulation and increased fat storage. When sugar is not cleared efficiently, the blood remains in a hyperglycemic state for longer. This not only increases clotting tendency, but also promotes inflammation, both key drivers of stroke risk. The brain itself is also more vulnerable at night. While you sleep, blood flow to certain regions of the brain decreases as part of normal rest cycles. If circulation is already compromised by high blood sugar, thickened blood, or unstable blood pressure, the reduced flow may be enough to tip the balance and cause damage. This is why many strokes are discovered first thing in the morning, when patients wake up unable to speak, move, or even wake at all. Doctors call this phenomenon wake-up stroke, and late-night eating habits are a contributing factor. Hydration plays another role. At night, people naturally drink less water. The body becomes mildly dehydrated during sleep, which thickens the blood. Thick blood combined with a sugar surge from fruit is a dangerous combination. Clots form more easily in thicker blood. And if a clot travels to the brain, a stroke occurs. This explains why strokes are more common in the early morning hours, when dehydration, high sugar, and blood pressure fluctuations intersect. Another overlooked factor is that lying down after eating changes circulation. When you eat high-sugar fruit and then go to bed, the digestive system continues working while you are horizontal. This slows clearance of sugar, increases reflux, and alters how blood is distributed. Instead of sugar being used gradually for activity, it stagnates in the bloodstream, amplifying its damaging effects. The horizontal position also raises intracranial pressure slightly, which, when combined with unstable blood vessels, raises the risk of vessel rupture. For patients with sleep disorders, such as sleep apnea, the danger is even higher. Sleep apnea causes repeated drops in oxygen during the night. Each drop triggers a surge of stress hormones that raise blood pressure suddenly. Combine this with a sugar spike from late-night fruit, and the blood vessels face a double assault: oxygen deprivation and pressure surges. This combination is one of the reasons why people with untreated sleep apnea have a much higher risk of stroke, especially at night. The hormonal environment at night also magnifies the danger. Melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep, interacts with insulin and glucose regulation. When sugar is consumed at night, it disrupts melatonin's effects, leading to poorer sleep quality and weaker glucose control. Poor sleep further raises blood pressure and damages vascular health, creating a vicious cycle that increases stroke risk over time. It is important to recognize that the same fruit eaten during the day may not carry the same danger. When consumed at breakfast or lunch, the sugar is more likely to be used by muscles and organs for energy. But the identical portion eaten at midnight becomes a burden, stored as fat, left to circulate, and placing stress on the brain and heart. This is why timing is as critical as quantity. I have seen patients who insisted they ate nothing but healthy snacks at night, often fruit. Yet, they arrived at the hospital with a wake-up stroke. When their families were asked about habits, the pattern became clear: bowls of grapes, mango slices, or bananas before bed, repeated nightly for years, had silently damaged their vessels. The tragedy is that these strokes were not inevitable. They were triggered by habits that could have been changed. The lesson you must take away is simple. The body is not designed to handle large amounts of sugar at night. Eating high-sugar fruits before bed destabilizes blood pressure, blood sugar, and brain circulation in ways that are especially dangerous while you sleep. That is why the risk of stroke is highest overnight, and why what seems like a harmless snack can become the trigger for a life-altering event. If this explanation has made you reconsider your evening habits, wait until you hear the next part, where I will show you safer choices and smarter ways to enjoy fruit without endangering your brain. These strategies will let you keep the health benefits of fruit while avoiding the hidden dangers that strike in the night. Part 4. Safer choices and how to eat smart. Now that you understand why eating high-sugar fruits at night can raise your risk of stroke, it is important to focus on what you can do instead. The goal is not to scare you away from fruit completely, but to teach you how to enjoy fruit in ways that truly protect your brain and heart, rather than silently harming them. Stroke prevention is not about eliminating all sweetness from life. It is about choosing wisely, controlling portions, and respecting the body's natural rhythms. The first step is timing. If you want to enjoy fruit, the best times are in the morning or early afternoon. At these hours, your body is active, your muscles are using glucose for energy, and your metabolism is primed to handle sugar. Eating fruit earlier in the day allows your body to absorb vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants without facing the risks that come from a nighttime sugar surge. A handful of grapes with breakfast, for example, is far safer than the same handful eaten before bed. The second step is choosing fruits with lower glycemic impact. Not all fruits raise blood sugar in the same way. Berries such as strawberries, blueberries, raspberries, and blackberries are excellent choices. They are rich in antioxidants, fiber, and vitamins. Yet their sugar content is relatively low compared to grapes or mangoes, apples and pears, eaten with the skin. Also provide fiber that slows sugar absorption, reducing the spike in blood glucose. Citrus fruits such as oranges, grapefruits, and mandarins deliver vitamin C and hydration with a moderate sugar load that is more manageable for the body. Kiwi, guava, and papaya are other fruits that strike a better balance between sweetness and safety. By prioritizing these fruits, you get the health benefits without overloading your bloodstream with sugar. The third step is portion control. Even healthy fruits can become harmful if eaten in excessive amounts. A single medium apple or a cup of berries is usually enough for one serving. A full plate of fruit salad or half a bunch of grapes, on the other hand, delivers far more sugar than the body can safely handle at once. People often underestimate how much fruit they eat because it feels light and refreshing. That is why it is crucial to serve fruit in small bowls or pre-portioned amounts. Eating slowly and mindfully also helps, giving your body time to signal fullness before you overeat. Another strategy is pairing fruit with protein or healthy fats. When you eat fruit together with nuts, yogurt, or a piece of cheese, the absorption of sugar slows down. The protein and fat act as buffers, preventing sharp spikes in blood glucose and insulin. For example, a sliced apple with a handful of almonds is much safer than eating grapes by themselves. A small bowl of berries with plain yogurt is healthier than a fruit smoothie loaded with bananas and juice. This combination approach allows you to enjoy fruit while keeping your blood sugar stable. Hydration also matters. Drinking a glass of water with fruit helps dilute sugar concentration in the bloodstream and supports circulation. Many people snack on fruit in the evening without water, then go to bed, mildly dehydrated, which thickens the blood and increases clotting risk. Simple changes like having water with your fruit can reduce this danger. For those with medical conditions such as diabetes, hypertension, or kidney disease, being even more careful is essential. Monitor your blood sugar response to different fruits. Some patients discover that even moderate amounts of certain fruits raise their glucose levels too high, while others tolerate them better. Work with your doctor to adjust medication and diet accordingly. Avoid dried fruits like raisins, dates, and figs at night, because they are concentrated sources of sugar and often contain added preservatives that further stress the body. Practical habits can also make fruit safer. Never eat fruit right before bed. Give your body at least 2 to 3 hours to process it before lying down. Do not combine fruit with alcohol late at night, as this pairing magnifies the risk of dehydration, blood sugar spikes, and clotting. If you crave something sweet after dinner, choose a small portion of low-sugar fruit like berries, and stop there. Replace the habit of eating fruit while watching television at night with drinking herbal tea, which calms the body and prepares you for sleep, without adding sugar stress beyond fruit. Consider your overall lifestyle. Stroke risk is not determined by one food alone, but by patterns over time. Controlling blood pressure, staying active, limiting processed foods, and avoiding smoking are all essential. Fruit is just one piece of the puzzle, but because it is often misunderstood as always safe, it can become a hidden trap. By eating fruit smartly, you align it with your body's needs rather than against them. I often tell my patients that fruit should be treated like medicine. The right dose, the right time, and the right type make it healing. The wrong dose, the wrong time, and the wrong type make it harmful. This perspective helps people respect fruit rather than abuse it. Nature's sweetness can be powerful, but only if handled wisely. The good news is that these changes are not difficult. You do not need to give up fruit entirely. You simply need to shift when and how you eat it. Morning instead of midnight. Berries instead of grapes. One portion instead of 3. Fruit with water and protein instead of alone with alcohol. These simple shifts can dramatically reduce your stroke risk while still giving you all the nutritional benefits that fruit offers. The lesson is clear. Fruit is not the enemy, but carelessness is. By making smarter choices, you protect your brain, your heart, and your independence. Stroke is a disease that steals lives and mobility in minutes, but much of its risk can be controlled. Do not let a seemingly harmless bowl of grapes undo years of healthy living. If this has given you practical hope, wait until you hear the conclusion, where I will bring all of these lessons together and remind you how one simple change in habit can mean the difference between waking up healthy and not waking up at all. Conclusion. Protect your brain by eating fruit wisely. We have now arrived at the conclusion, and it is time to bring everything together. You have learned that fruit, while natural and nourishing, is not always safe when eaten the wrong way. The first truth is that not all fruits are equal. Grapes and other high-sugar fruits can silently push blood sugar and blood pressure into dangerous ranges. The second truth is that the timing of fruit matters just as much as the type. Eating these fruits at night, when your metabolism is slower and your body is resting, creates the perfect storm for instability in blood circulation, thickened blood, and pressure surges that can trigger stroke. The third truth is that awareness gives you power. By choosing safer fruits such as berries, apples, pears, or citrus, by controlling portions, by pairing fruit with protein or water, and by avoiding late-night habits, You can still enjoy the benefits of fruit without carrying its hidden risks. Stroke is one of the most devastating conditions I treat as a doctor. In minutes, it can take away speech, movement, memory, or even life itself. Too often, patients and families say, "We thought we were eating healthy," not realizing that their evening fruit habit was contributing to the very event they feared most. But this knowledge gives you hope. It shows that prevention is possible. The choices you make today can protect your brain tomorrow. You do not need to live in fear. You need to live with awareness. Your brain still remembers how to heal. Your body still responds when given the right care. And your future is still in your hands. Share this message with your loved ones, because knowledge is the first defense against stroke. Now, I would love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one habit you plan to change after watching this video. If this video has given you clarity, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0, so I know how to improve. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another health tip made just for you.